The age of information overload is for sure with us. What a great time to work out a whole new pile of skills and a new way of doing it. It must have been like TV arriving when everyone did radio. Yeah? There are many things from radio that kind of still applied. Good interview technique like yours, Tom. But TV was different. It was a different medium. And for me, the essential difference is that market research, quantitative particularly, was used to we lowered our bucket down into the well of respondents, and we drew up our gloriously, beautifully formed sample, and then we tipped it out into our subsamples and carefully calibrated what it all meant. And now it's just the fire hose of data, which just makes the tools and techniques and what we have to do change.
It's around capturing behavioral information. It's not social media, it's not the tracking information, et cetera, et cetera. It's about tracking real behaviors through a variety of different technology resources, and through that predicting future behavior.
At the end of the 20th century, qualitative research led the way in being able to read between the words. Not quite what people said, but what was meant. And I think the quantitative 21st century equivalent of that is being able to see what insight lies just outside of the mass of actual data, what it means, which is more of a qualitative skill applied to numbers.
I think big data will tell us a lot of the hows and the whats. It's not necessarily going to tell us the why. So I think the future growth of research will be focused a lot on qualitative. Quant will still continue at some level because we're going to need to fill in gaps of information, but it will be a spoke on a wheel that's feeding into this large hub of lots of data sources to give more of a holistic view of the consumer.
And the big challenge for us, but also for research agencies, I think, for the near future is how to bring them back to core insights or core learnings.
Big data can bog you down. But if you do not have the ability to zoom out and tell powerful stories with big data, you could get lost.
Researchers can become the problem, or more data can become the problem if we don't see the forest through the trees anymore, or the other way around. And we're doing things like, in a very automated way and without thinking and doing the same thing all over again. I think the real important thing is, how do you communicate the data internally in your company such that people do something with it, that it changes their behavior, that it changes their decisions in one way or the other. And I think it's not so much about the analysis as such, or if you have a lot of data or few data, it's what you do with it, what you do to your managers with it, and how how it changes their perspective.
Very crucial that a researcher also needs to have creative skills and communication skills, and the two of them go together. You see already, a couple of years, maybe 5 years ago, research findings were delivered in big reports, dull, boring, etc., etc. Then all the PowerPoint kind of presentations came, but I think it's ready for a next phase. And don't ask me exactly how I see that in front of me, but there are different ways in which a lot of creativity is involved that will really make impact at our stakeholders.